Welcome to Sarajevo. Sarajevo made world headlines 3 times in the 20th century.
You probably remember the 1984 Winter Olympics and the brutal siege during the Bosnian War.
But the first, that happened over a century ago, and it sparked a world war. In this video, we'll explore Sarajevo through the lens of the first 2 of these historic moments.
And we'll leave the Bosnian War and the siege of Sarajevo for a separate video.
Stick around, Sarajevo might just surprise you.
Well, it certainly surprised us.
When you think about the First World War, you probably think about trench warfare or the landings at Gallipoli, not Sarajevo. But that first headline moment took place on this exact spot, when the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his wife, Sophie, were killed by a Bosnian Serb nationalist, Gavrilo Princip. There's a small museum here which details the period 1878 to 1918, when Sarajevo and all of Bosnia was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We learned about the plot of these 7 young men and saw a replica of the gun used in the assassination.
What do you think of that one?
Well, you know, look, it's a very small museum. It's not a lot in there.
Allocate 5-10 minutes to have a look if you
really want to.
Inquisitive, but
It's 5 marks to get in. But to be honest, I think the best part of the story is outside here, where you can stand in the footprints, you can see the vehicle, you can look at the photos.
Check out the bridge.
Yeah. So Franz Ferdinand and Sophia had been at the town hall for a function, which is just down the road there.
The procession went that way in the morning. Kabrinovich threw the grenade, which bounced off the vehicle and went underneath the car behind and injured 20 people. They went to the hall.
And they'd travelled back along this road, and then for some reason the driver took a right turn here.
He ended up here. Princip was right here, eating a sandwich, supposedly, the folklore goes. And then as it was reversing back, he took his shot. So he was point blank. And there's so they would have been sitting in the back. There he is getting dragged away.
These 4 spots here is where the actual car was. So that's, yeah, it marks the tire marks of the car. If you want a souvenir,
just to prove he might have been a national hero,
you can even get a keychain with Gavrilo Princip on it. We also saw fridge magnets with Princip on them. Not sure about the company he keeps though. But just how did this assassination lead to the First World War? Let's step back a bit. Sarajevo's history has always been shaped by its location at the crossroads of East and West. Bosnia and Hercegovina was home to Illyrians, then the Romans, before becoming a medieval kingdom in the 14th century. This was their first king. In 1463, the Ottomans conquered Bosnia, bringing Islam, distinctive architecture, and traditions that remain today. Hello, coffee. After 400 years, Bosnia was annexed by the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1878, giving parts of Sarajevo a Viennese feel. But ethnic Serbs wanted Bosnia in a greater Slavic nation. So when an ethnic Serb assassinated the Arch-duke, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Alliances pulled in Germany, Russia, France and Great Britain, and the First World War began, costing over 20 million lives. This east-west divide is quite distinct in Sarajevo, and it's even marked on the footpath here. So we are standing on the spot where east meets west. And if you look this way, we're looking at the old eastern part of the city. So the architecture is very Ottoman, kind of looks like we're in Istanbul. And if we spin around...
Welcome to Vienna. It kind of looks that way.
Looking this way, it's a lot... This is the western part of the city, and it's a lot more European.
We like to call it the fastest way from Vienna to Istanbul, and you can see 3 main differences. That side has lower buildings, narrower streets, more sweet shops. That one has wider streets, taller buildings, more bars and more pubs.
We spent days wandering around the narrow streets of Bashchashia, the old bazaar. Such a cool little rabbit warren of streets selling all sorts of things. We're walking now down the Coppersmith Street, which is about 500 years old, and these streets all have a sign there telling us about them. How do you say it, Nige?
Kazanzija, I believe. The Kazan translates as cauldron.
Yeah.
But basically this is the Copper Street.
We did a walking tour with a local guide who told us more about the craft of copper making, and then we got to see one of the craftsmen at work.
Too simple, half circle line. If I continue with half circle smaller one, if I continue with that one flat, I will.
All throughout the Coppersmith Street you'll see these coffee sets, so...
We're off to now.
I think it's coffee time.
Okay. Traditional coffee.
We loved our daily morning coffee here at the Divan Cafe in the old caravanserai. Coffee is very much a social ritual here in Bosnia.
There's only 3.5 million people here, so not a lot, but according to some statistics, we are the 9th consumers of coffee in the world.
The Sibilja, or wooden fountain, is a landmark of Sarajevo, right here in the middle of Bashchashia. And it was built in 1753, well, the original one, but that burnt down, and so this fountain here dates back from 1891. According to a local legend, if you drink the water from this fountain, you're ensuring your return to Sarajevo. This whole area, this square, is pretty much overrun by pigeons now. I think all the pigeons that used to be in Venice have come here. Perhaps the most lasting legacy of the Ottomans is religion. Our guide reckons around 50% of the population of Sarajevo is Muslim, and that there are over 100 mosques in the city. The largest historic mosque is right here in the old town, the Gazi Husrev Bey Mosque. Gazi Husrev Bey was a governor of Bosnia in the 16th century, and he financed a lot of important building work here in Sarajevo. He built this mosque in 1530. The surrounding complex also includes a school, a covered market, and a library. We're now in the courtyard of the Gazi Husrev Beg Mosque. So you can go inside the mosque. It does cost 5 marks, and you need to come to this little building in the corner here and get a ticket, and then you go around to the side. So you can't go in during prayer times. You need to take your shoes off. You need to have your shoulders and knees covered. They did let the guys in shorts, so as long as they're not short shorts. And women, you need to have your head covered. Directly across from the mosque is the school and the library. And what was he saying today? Like 80% of the books were destroyed in the war. So the library got shelled and it's been rebuilt. It's a beautiful big library now.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Madrasa. This is the oldest school in Bosnia.
Oh, this is the school. Okay.
Yes.
This mosque is also a 16th century mosque. It's called the Fahadia Mosque. So, and this is the main street along here that's called Fahadia. But it's not just Islam represented here. Sarajevo is a very diverse city with Jewish, Orthodox and Catholic communities also. The old Jewish synagogue dates from 1581 and it now houses the Museum of the Jews of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
This imposing building is the Sacred Heart Cathedral, or the Catholic Cathedral of Sarajevo, and it's the largest cathedral in Bosnia. It was built from 1884 to 1887, so in the Austrian period, and it's seen sometimes as the symbol of Sarajevo. And outside the cathedral is this aluminium statue of John Paul II, which commemorates his visit to the city in 1997. We've come once more to the cathedral and once more it's closed. I think we're just destined not to go inside this cathedral.
The Cathedral of the Nativity is the Orthodox cathedral and it was also built in the 19th century. We got distracted watching the men playing chess outside though. The Sarajevo City Hall was the largest building project of the Austro-Hungarian period. The building began in 1891. Apparently the architect never visited Sarajevo and he designed it in a style that he thought would fit in with the existing Ottoman architecture of the city. We don't really think it matches the rest of the city though. The interior is well worth a look with its stained glass ceiling, but sadly when we visited it was closed for an upcoming event.
There is a very interesting story about the town hall which surrounds this house on the other side of the river. It's actually known as the House of Spite now. So when they were building the town hall, they wanted to expand the tramway, and there were a couple of houses in the way, so as governments usually do, they offered to buy up the houses, not always for what they're worth. But this house, the owner didn't want to sell, but eventually he agreed if they moved his house brick by brick from that side of the river where the town hall is over to here, and also pay him a bag of gold. So it's like Bosnia's own real life version of the castle.
Tell him he's dreaming.
It's now actually a restaurant in there. If we hadn't have just filled our bellies with burek, we might go in, but maybe later.
Of course, a big part of travelling is experiencing the local food, and there are so many restaurants in the old town of Sarajevo where you can try traditional Bosnian food. The cuisine here is very meat heavy, with grilled meat and cevapi being favourite dishes.
More than just meat. There is meat here, but also a lot of vegetarian stuff.
Good choices.
So we've got some traditional food here. This is the cevapi with the flatbread, pita bread and raw onions to give it a bit of spice.
A little spice.
Yeah. Grilled vegetables and potato and salad.
I'm excited about the delicious food.
But we also enjoyed burek many times.
It's good. It's good.
This apparently is the place to get burek.
The burek here is sold by weight. It's about 20 marks per kilo. We ordered a variety.
Voila.
Luke got the spinach, I had cheese, and Nigel had potato and meat. Throughout the old town you'll see shops selling baklava and these sweet logs. Our local guide joked about the invasion of the baklava. He said it's not actually traditional. Instead, he introduced us to these shortbread cookies. And it wouldn't be Nigel and Sue adventures without beer. The local brew is called Sarajevsko, and it's very drinkable. If you really need fast food, I guess you could look for one of these places. The second of the world headline moments for Sarajevo was the 1984 Winter Olympic Games. Even though that was over 40 years ago, there are still memories of these Olympics all over the city.
Behind us is the Olympic Museum.
In 1984, Sarajevo was the host of the Winter Olympics. Sarajevo at the time was part of Yugoslavia, and this was the first and only Winter Olympics to be hosted by a communist country. Of course, Moscow had hosted the Summer Olympics in 1980.
It's only a small museum, but it's got all sorts of information.
Katerina Witt is inside.
No, she's not.
Well,
There's a video of Katarina Witt. Entry for the Olympic Museum is 12 marks per person. So this Olympics was notable for, of course, the ice skaters, Torval and Dean, and ski jumper Matti Nuukkonen from Finland.
Oh, Katarina Witt. They.
Yes, and Katarina Witt.
Oh, hang on, there she is. Look at her go.
I dragged Nigel away from Katarina to see the other collections in the museum, but then he spotted ski jumper Matti Nuukkonen. We were so inspired by Matti's jump, we drove out to Mount Igman to see where this all took place. Many of the Olympic sites were damaged during the Bosnian War in the 90s, and some of them are now lying in ruins.
What would you say that angle is? It's not 45 degrees, but it's pretty close to it. It's so steep. So I've talked Sue into coming up.
Yeah,
because it's pretty cool.
Looking forward to it.
112 metre, isn't it? Is the large one.
This one?
Yep. And the smaller one, I actually didn't think it was as big as this, is actually 90 metres. And that was the one that Weissflog from Germany won because he was like the favourite, wasn't he? He won the normal size hill, the 90, and then Matti Nuukkonen, the Finnish legend, came through and won the big one. Okay, so that's a bit of the history of it.
I don't know if you've ever walked up a ski jump, or indeed skied down one, but it's very, very steep.
Probably had windows there back in the day.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I just don't like it.
I'm like gripping onto Nigel so tight right now.
I mean, that's the thing. If
You guys can't even tell it. It looks like nothing, but it's like,
if you
oh
lost,
God, I can't even look at the camera.
If you lost your footing, you'd
Die.
Oh, there you go. I got that. It was graceful. Gets a lot steeper here. Got to be at least 45 degrees here, doesn't it?
So the whole complex, while looking very run down and sad, it's still quite popular.
So, yeah, they still mow the lawns, keep that tidy, even if everything else is falling apart. But this is where the locals come to hang out for the weekend, have a picnic. That was very cool.
Probably the most popular Olympic site in Sarajevo is the bobsled track. It's located up on Trebević Mountain, and the best way to get there is to take this gondola. Off we go. Price for the cable car ticket, 30 marks, which is return. You can get it one way for 20. It'll be a big long walk down. The gondola takes about 10 minutes, and on the way you get great views of the city. We've just come out of the cable car and we're going to walk down here so we can explore the bobsled track. So here we go, Olympic rings. It's just a short walk down to the bobsled track. The track was purpose-built for bobsled and luge competitions in the Winter Olympics, and it became a sniper point during the war. Nowadays, it's covered in graffiti and makes a really interesting place to visit and to photograph.
up over the edge.
Just so cool. And one of the biggest issues with the Sarajevo Olympics in 1984 was that up until a couple of days before the event started, there hadn't actually been much snow. So there was a real concern that some of the events wouldn't be able to take place because
Oh, is that
there
right?
was no snow. And then, you know, in a touch of fate, the day before or 2 days before or something, the heavens opened and the snow fell.
Might as well top up.
Yeah. So yeah, very conveniently placed young man selling bottles of water.
Yeah, good entrepreneur.
Well worth a visit.
Very, very cool.
Well, it is considered one of the best things to do in Sarajevo, and I think I would have to agree with that.
Unique. Is
Yeah.
that, what did the guy say? There's only 14 of these
In the world.
tracks in the world.
That's amazing.
We also visited the Olympic Stadium.
Used for the opening ceremony of the 1984 Winter Olympics. You can see up there where the cauldron is.
To be honest, you can't see much here, so it's probably not really worth a visit. Right next to the main stadium is the Zetra Hall, which was purpose-built for the Olympics. Several speed skating records were broken here, but the most memorable performance was probably Torvill Dean's Bolero, which received the highest ever score for ice skating and won the pair the gold medal. And let's not forget Katarina Witt.
Just inside are the Olympic Committee offices. She said we can have a little look around the hall. All the posters from all the Olympics. Yeah, so Lucky Luke got a gift from the Bosnian Olympic Committee.
Shirt. This is just propaganda now for the Bosnian Olympics. Little keychain with the Bosnian Olympic symbol and a pin with the same thing.
Very cool.
I'm going to wear all these out now and everyone's going to think I'm Bosnian. So.
Big thanks to my son Luke for coming to visit us. Join us next time as we visit the beautiful city of Mostar.